Good day everyone, and welcome to our Itty Biddy Irish Girl colored pencil tutorial. She is just loaded with charm. That was the first word that came to my mind. It reminded me of Lucky Charms. Okay, if you want to do this tutorial with us and print this outline off of your computer, we have this for free on our Facebook pages. If you follow one of the links below, it will take you to our Facebook page where we have this design. You simply just save the image and you can print it off on any printer. I am using Strathmore Tone Tanned sketch paper. I love that for colored pencils. It really makes the vibrant lights and brights pop. That, I think, oh, you know what else? I do need to tell you one more thing. I would be so appreciative if you subscribe to this channel or like to this video. That alone is worth its weight in, but on bump gold. I'm just trying to be punny, okay? Yeah, that would help so much though, for real. I would be so appreciative. Okay, so give you a second to go gather your supplies and get this print off ready, and we'll be back and we'll get started. The first color that I am using on this project is, drum roll please, can't read it upside down, pink. Rose pink, it's PC929 in my Prismacolors. We are going to start with this rainbow in the background. And if you've ever done this before, you may already know this. You have to press very light when you're adding a background and it's subtle like that. And I'm not using the tip of my pencil, I'm actually going to be using the side of my pencil. And I'm just going to lightly do these little strokes just like this. And it's going to be going up on an angle and then down on an angle. So just kind of keeping that in mind. I'm doing it a little bit brighter with a little extra layering in the middle, because the outside of this band of pink is where I will blend the other colors in that we're adding to the rainbow. It's going to be really pretty. Probably about an inch thick. And again, just adding another layer so it's a little more rich in the center here. Very subtle though, very light pressure. And also, I should tell you that you may need an eraser for this part. I use an eraser to smooth out some of the value jumps. If you've never heard that term before, that means going from dark to light a little too fast. It's not the most technical definition, but it's a pretty good definition. It's a jump from dark to light. And sometimes you'll get those because of the texture of your paper, nothing that you're doing with your pressure, your technique. You'll just hit a spot in the paper that's a little rough. Continue to bring this down here. And my thought is to widen the width of the line down at the bottom here, because some rainbows you see disappear and get smaller into the sky and larger towards the ground, just a little. Also, I just think it looks cool. So I make most of my artistic decisions. It's just because I like it. Okay, going back in and adding that second layer. Okay. Second color we're going to use is a golden yellow. Let's see the actual name of it here. This one is called Spanish Orange. Out of the Prismacolor box, it's PC1003. And whichever colored pencils you're using, it's just a very golden colored yellow. Okay, and we're gonna bring that down over here, and we're gonna do the exact same thing. Same technique, light pressure, but we're gonna bring a little bit of it into the pink, just lightly. Just a little bit. Again, I'm keeping the bandwidth, the width, not the bandwidth, but the width of the rainbow a little smaller up here and causing it to be a little bit bigger down here. And then just kind of really lift that pressure, keep it even lighter as I kind of fade it out off the paper. Just a real gentle fade. Okay, got that done. And now we're adding in Violet of, oh dear, Parma Violet. It's PC 1008. That is the color purple. And we're gonna do that right there, same exact thing, no change up in technique. We're gonna bring it a little bit into the pink. It's a little more potent than the yellow, so I'm very gentle where I cross over into the pink. Just very gentle. Okay. All right, and I'm not really seeing where I really need to use the eraser yet, but I'm sure I'll find a spot where I can show you that it works. All right, now on this one, I kept it much more narrow, the width of the rainbow, and I added a little bit of blue over on the edge. Well, this is getting pretty wide. It's gonna lean into just being a sunset if I put blue on there. So I'm gonna leave that with just the purples, the pinks, and the yellow. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start that hat. Now, you know this. You can choose whatever colors you want, but I didn't want to lean into the blacks. I kind of wanted to keep this more warm and rich, and so I chose green for her hat. But there's actually quite a few colors in there to get that look in her hat. We're going to start with olive green. I'm still using the side of my pencil on this. And I'm doing like these little circles. But I'm gonna go from dark to light, a little more dark on this side. I'm also gonna go from dark to light on this side to get the cylinder shape and make it look three-dimensional, give it some shape and form. But because you're in a smaller space, you have to start working that lighter pressure pretty quick. We're gonna do several layers on this. This is just our getting into it phase. And if you're new to this, the shading and like switching up the amount of pressure that you're putting on your pencil, you can practice it on a separate sheet of paper right before you get into it, just to get comfortable. Okay, so you can already see I've got some dark to light going on, even though it's all overall still very light. I'm gonna go back in with my second layer. Doing the exact same thing, but just adding another layer. Still on the side of my lid, not like this, because that will get you some pretty dark, precise lines. I'm wanting to get it more surface area on the hat with the pencil, with just the side of my lid. By the way, if you really want to get both sides of your brain working at the same time and together as friends, definitely try to do a tutorial where you give the directions out loud while you're doing it. It will get your language and your visual capacity working together all at the same time. It's quite the ordeal. And it is also why you will hear me stumble for words as I'm doing this sometimes. It's pretty fun. Just doing the same thing over and over. You're really starting to see that form come in, the more layers that you add. Now, could you press harder in the beginning and not add so many layers? Yes, you can, and save yourself some time. But I work mine very slowly to get that nice smooth transition from dark to light. Everybody that's ever used these kind of has their own little way. And you'll find yours. You will find your way. It's just nice to have a friend along on the journey, right? Also, I just went out of the lines. Always fun. Always nice that you can indeed erase when you do. Okay, I'm going to stop there with this part of the hat, and I'm going to continue to work into other aspects of her outfit that have this first layer of green, and then we will go back through. If you, like I said, or maybe I didn't say, but if you want to do the first half of the tutorial with me, you can be done at that stopping point where we have all the colors on and they're, we have the dark to light, or you can continue on with me through the whole tutorial and we will color blast her. What I mean is, that is when we will go back in and we will add more colors and we will blend and we will get this nice burnished, shiny look to her with all these different colors. Okay, it's kind of like an upgrade. So we will continue on with just the first round of layering and shading, hitting all the parts of her hat. Here, the light, we want to make sure the light is hitting this part of her hat, and we want to make sure there's like a shadow here. Okay, so I'm going to do the dark to light a little different than we did on the top part of the hat. I'm going to bring it dark to light and the light be down here. We're going to color this in using more the tip of our lead because it's a smaller spot and I want it darker. I'm still doing dark to light, just darker in general. Okay, come over here, but I'll turn it this way so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, go back in for that second layer. Create a little more of a shadow there where the clover is resting on her hand. Just cast a little shadow there. Smooth it out, blend it in. Work it into the shading. Okay, come back up here and do the same. Now in the beginning of this, you may feel some resistance to finishing the whole project. You'll feel like, oh, this is taking a while. Just stick with it, because there comes a point where you switch over and you get into that right brain mode, that flow mode, and that's when the patience and that loss of time and space kicks in and you just get into the project. So if you're feeling some impatience, hang in there. That will just slowly get bored of bothering you and disappear. So I was showing you and talking at the same time. I'm showing you that we're going to move into her sleeves. I have green here, and then we'll move into her leggings if you want to stripe them like me, and we will also add some green down here on her buckles, which you actually don't have in your drawing. We're going to add those in. Okay, but we'll start at the sleeve, and I am going to zoom in a little. Here we go. Let's do that. All right. Now the same thing, we're not really changing up technique, we're just changing up the size and space where we're doing that technique. I'm still on the side of my lead. I'm not right straight up and down like this. And I'm still going from dark to light, darker more towards the inside of her sleeve and getting lighter as we move out. Okay. At some point, you may need to sharpen your pencil. I know I will. Come to this sleeve, do the same thing. Okay. Now to get into her leggings, you have to curve the line and draw them light. You don't want to have like these dark outlines that really stand out on her leggings, or at least I know I don't, but I'm going to curve the line. You could switch it up and just do solid leggings or polka dots. I just decided to do striped. I just liked that idea. Okay, so I have her stripes drawn in there, and I liked doing the green here. Same thing, lighter and brighter over here, darker up under here, just showing the roundness of the leg. Okay. Same thing we're doing everywhere else, just going dark to light. Really just getting into that mode, that shading mode. All right, come back up in here. Okay, that's a great first layer we got going with the green. It's looking amazing. Let's add that buckle in. First I drew just that little, and I follow the curve of the boot. I don't make it a straight line. I kind of just follow that little slight curve. Match the curve down here. This is a very tiny space, but I'm gonna block it in. You see that? And I'm gonna loop that around, also with the curve, and then I'm gonna shade it. Adding a little more dark around where the buckle hits. Just like that. And we will go back in there and put some gold on that clasp. And we gotta do the same thing over here, following the curve of the boot. Let's add that buckle in. Now that one's a little more head on, so I did the curve up. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Now I'm gonna punch pause because I need to sharpen my pencil, and then we're gonna hit the clovers. We're gonna go in and put the first layer of green on the clovers. All right, I am back with a freshly sharpened pencil. This is gonna make life much easier for me. We are going to be doing the same thing over and over and over in each of these clovers, and it's pretty simple. Let's start. I think you can see pretty good, but maybe, no, that's as close as it's gonna get, folks. Okay, these little hearts, clovers, they kind of split in the middle a little bit, like in their design. Like you have that dark up the center, around the outside. So they look like that. Okay, so I kind of maintain that throughout the whole coloring, and I know it's pretty tedious and pretty detailed, but it's worth it. You'll love how they look when you get done. Okay, so that's pretty dark, and then I'm gonna do just a light, low pressure shade right there. Okay, and I do that over and over through each clover. And I'm gonna keep doing that mostly quietly until there's something else I need to tell you. If you see a little stem, I would simply just darken it in. it helps to kind of darken it in and leave a little shadow there to separate them. That is what I did on these ones. So the ones in front popped out more and the ones in the back just became layering. Which is how you would see it if you saw it in real life. Some would pop out and be up front and where the light's hitting them, and some of them would be shadowed. Okay. Okay, I feel like as I'm looking at it, they all have their first layer, and we'll do the little clovers on her hat. That, my friends, is our first layer of green. It's already looking pretty snazzy. The second thing we're going to begin to do is her hair. She is our little red-headed Irish girl. I am using 4 different colors. You really could get away with using 3 or even 2, but I have orange. It's just straight up orange, PC 918 in the Prismacolor palette. Then I have dark brown, PC 946 in the Prismacolor palette. I have crimson red, PC 924, and poppy red, PC 922. I'm going to start my first layer with the orange, just straight up orange. We're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna put one light first layer in. Okay. Oh, and there's a little curl back here. Make sure to get that. The second color is going to be the poppy red. And this is where I'm going to start building the shadowing of the hair. Where when you have dark up here and a little dark down here with the light pop through here, you start to see the movement of the hair. Just using little lines, really little lines. Have a roll-away pencil effect going on there. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go back in with some of the dark brown. Same thing I was doing with the red. Not quite as much though. He's pretty potent. Okay, and I'm gonna go back on top with that original orange that I used. I'm doing the whole stroke of the hair with the orange. Not loving how dark that brown got right here, so I'm gonna hit it with the red. I want the red to be more prominent down there. She's getting some flowy locks, that's for sure. And the more layers you add, the more it starts to like blend together and get like a nice shiny coat. Part of the challenge of this part is just how tiny this area is. Now that got super concentrated. I can't think of a better word, so I'm gonna go back in and add some little white highlights. Just add a little shine to her hair. And some spots. Yellow actually would be a very good color to use on this. That might work better than the white. I still like it though. Oh yeah, she has got some red flaming hair. That's awesome. Okay, I know I said I was only gonna use a couple colors, but I'm gonna throw a little yellow in. This really is like fire. Oh my goodness. How fun. All right. So we have that part. She has red hair, my friends. Now we're going to move on to I'll show you. She has this buckle and strap on her hat. She has the scarf. She actually has this little tie around the clovers. She has a little bit of her hand right here that's holding the clovers. And then she has this glove. And all of those, the base coat for each of those is Process Red, PC 994. That is the color. We are going to do the same thing we've been doing, going dark to light. Using dark over here, dark here, and then leaving it lighter in here, creating somewhat of a little shadow where the buckle sits on top of the band. Same thing in here. I want it to be lighter in the middle. Kind of makes it look like the fabric is popping through the buckle a little bit. I don't know if you call that a buckle. I'm not sure what you call it. But you know what I'm talking about. You get it. Okay, there's a little exterior band right there. I'm gonna darken that in, and there's a little bit of the band right there. Okay, so first layer on the hat. Get in here and do the scarf. We're gonna do it darker back here, darker under here, and I'm gonna lighten it up like a curve over here. Needs to go up like this. A little bit of a shadow there because it tucks behind this part of the scarf. I'm gonna do it lighter up here, slightly dark at the nape of the neck there. Okay. Darker here. Same reason. Lighten it up as I go down. And hit those little fringes on her scarf. Just like that. Okay, so we have the first layer of the scarf. By no means the last one for me, but you can decide if you're gonna keep going with me. Okay, and last but not least, well, actually we have two things. We have the twine on the clovers. Three things. Her little hands over here and the glove. We'll do the twine on the clovers first. I'm gonna do this so you can see it better. Very tiny little spot. Oh my goodness. What am I doing to you guys, making things so tiny like that? Okay. I am going to attempt to get this little hand in here. I did like a little bit of an outline there, and then lightly, there we go. We did it. Okay, and the same thing for this glove. We're gonna still try to do the dark to light in that little space. Okay. There's part of her glove right here. She's holding herself on the swing. Okay friends, I'm gonna mess you up a little bit here because the colored pencil that was in my Prisma box has gone missing. But it is dark ochre from the Sioux color. But I know there's a color like this in the Prisma box. I just can't find it. But it's kind of got like a, it looks like this on the tan colored paper. It's like a golden yellowy brown. That's my best description of what the color is. And we are going to lay a first layer on her garment and on her boots. Not focusing too much on the shading and shadowing for this part. Just getting that first base layer down. Okay, now I am going to focus a little more on dark to light. You want it light up here in these folds at the top of each fold, and you want it lighter up here and darker down here where her one, it's, you know, it's further back because she's kind of hunched over just a little bit. Her clovers are shadowing it, and it's just going to be darker in here and lighter out here, lighter up here. Just kind of giving you a directory of shadowing. Now, if you had a person sitting in front of you, you might hit the darks and lights a little different because you would have a genuine model. But for basics of shading and getting into this still works. We're just, you know, we're improvising where we think things would be dark and light. But I think we're pretty close to accurate. Okay. Okay. I say K a lot. You'll get used to it. You'll just eventually just not even notice. Get into the boots and put the first layer down. Same thing. Gonna make the boots look round by going dark to light. Oh, she's looking great. Oh, she's looking great. Might have to work on that accent. Okay, next, we need to do her skin. So let's grab our colors for the skin. PC 927 Light Peach. PC 939 Peach. PC 929 Pink. Okay, I'm gonna do the first layer. Same thing we've been doing, guys and gals. I'm just gonna put the first layer down. A little base layer. You can barely see because this is tan paper. Keeping in mind that when I'm going to do these skin tones, because it's tan paper, you know, these might look a little too cartoony. Not that she's not cartoony, because she indeed is. But on white paper, I'm not sure how that would look, because the tan helps a little bit in creating the skin tone. Okay. Boys and girls, you can't even barely see that. Okay. Go back in with the peach. And I'm already kind of giving her, I want her little cheeks rosy, but I also want a little highlight at the top of the cheek, just to show the shape of her face. So I'm already considering that as I'm adding the peach in. I will do it even more with pink. I want to create some roundness in her neck. So I'm shadowing it at the edges. Kind of creating a little shadow under here. And then going dark to light here. And then I'm going to go back in with the pink. Really give her some rosy little cheeks. Using the side of my pencil. You can even hit just her lip a little bit if you want. Normally I don't, but it'll work. Okay, and as I'm looking at that, I am gonna throw in, looking at that, I'm gonna throw in just a little bit of light umber into her shadowing. She needs a little extra something here. Especially up here where she would have a little shadow cast, just a little bit. Just a little bit under her nose. And definitely at her neck base. Okay. Very nice. Likes. Let's do her buckles next. I'm gonna use that burnt ember brown and golden yellow to do her buckle. Base layer is gonna be, I don't think it's called golden yellow, I should probably tell you. Spanish orange is this color. Hit her buckles down here. Indeed. Okay. I'm gonna go back in. Break my lid. You know what that calls for? That calls for a break, because I have to go sharpen this. I'll be back. Okay, friends. 24 hours has passed since I made the last clip. I ran out of daylight while I was filming this, and I can't remember where I left off, but I can see where I'd like to go right now, and it's going to be the first layer on the swing and the rope. And I actually used that same color that I used for her shirt and her boots. I used the dark ochre. And if you just have a light brown, like if you have a different set of colors, a light brown is going to work. And this is just the first layer, so this is not gonna be the overall look for your swing, but it's gonna be the beginning. See how many colors I have in that puppy? Okie dokie. I'm gonna move in the direction that the wood would go, kind of like little circles, but kind of not, kind of more like big, long circles, like ovals is the motion. There's still a little bit of a circular motion. Just applying that first layer. Those were some good instructions, kind of like, but kind of not. You can track it. You know what I'm saying. Just filling in, getting a base layer going. And once again, if you don't have the tone tan paper, yours is going to be a little more yellowy on your paper. The tan helps. Going up the rope. And you can do the individual little units if you want to. If you want to keep those black outlines a little more sharp, or you can just go up and down them like this, but it does mute out the lines a little bit. As a style choice, I just fade the rope off the top. She's just kind of suspended in air. Not that she really is, she's dreamy. And I haven't mentioned this yet, but the storyline behind this Iddy Biddy Irish Girl is that she goes about when no one's looking and gathers all the 4-leaf clovers out of the yard. And that is why we don't find very many 4-leaf clovers. That's what we decided her storyline was. The boys liked it. So here we have the first layer on our Itty Biddy Irish Girl. You can stop here if you feel satisfied, or this is the part where we keep going. This is the part where we burnish out our character and make her have like a glossy finish and combine a lot more colors into her design. So it is totally up to you. This is a little bit, oh, what would we say? It is just a longer tutorial. It's engaging. This is where it gets fun for me. I love doing this. So if you stay on, I think it's gonna be fun for you too. Okay, I'm going back through. I'm gonna be using all the colors I just used. Just gonna be using them in some unique places. Starting with her hat, let's put some pizzazz on that hat. Actually, I have not used this color yet. This is PC 989. I think it says Chartreuse. Just took my glasses off, but I think that's what it says, is Chartreuse. That's what I think it says. We're gonna add some pizzazz to that hat. And do something you might not expect in this color blasting session. I'm going back to the original green that I used. And as you keep layering these and they keep blending together, you're gonna start to see that shine come through. And less of the paper. Okay. So pretty. Now for the unexpected part, I'm going to throw in some of the process red, which is this same color that we used here. Very lightly, I'm just throwing in a little something extra. I like to color blast things, it's just fun. Going to do the same thing with her sleeves. And her belt buckle down here. And even her stripes. Maybe we'll zoom in a little bit for y'all so you can see it even better. Going dark to light, still following that same pattern of dark to light that we did in the first layer. No big changes on those types of decisions on where we're adding darks and lights. Get into that darker green and add some of the yellow. Oh, she is colorful. Go back in here. Adding a little bit of shadow on top of that chartreuse. Now I'm going to hit with a little bit of white on her stockings or her leggings. And I know you can tell just by watching, but I'm just doing those little circular motions. Just working on that blending. Okay. Now, I know I'm skipping around a little bit. Hopefully you can track. You couldn't even see me doing those leggings probably. Okay. I am going to add a little pink into her sleeve here. Or the proper red is what the color is called, which the name kind of seems a little funny to me. Okay, let's see. What else do we want to add that? We'll put a little bit, just a little bit in her leggings. I don't want to put too much pink in those, just a little. Just a little bit, just for fun. Okay. I am going to now go back in and add some of that pink on top of the garment, the little dress she's wearing. Start to add the color in here. All the little spots where it might be hidden. Nice. Okay, now we're going to add a little bit of the chartreuse in. These two colors are complementary colors, the proper red and the chartreuse. So it kind of gets it a little bit, it mutes it, puts it a little bit in the brown zone, but you're still getting that like really neat splash of color going on there. Okay, and a little bit of the, what color was this called? Olive green. Okay, and then surprise color. You might not have anticipated this one at all, but I'm gonna throw in a little bit of the light peach as like kind of like my glossing blending tool in here. I don't want to use white for mine because it will make it super, super poppy. I don't want it to pop too much, just a little bit of pop. But you should really start to see at this layer that you're really getting a little, that gloss going, really starting to blend. It's super cool. Okay, and I should have thought about this before, but that's okay. We're gonna do the boots now the same way. Go back in with the proper red. Let me make sure that just seems process red. Process red. It did seem funny to me. Process red is equally as an interesting name for this. It's proper red, but it's actually process red. Give her some process red soles on her little boots. Little circle motions. Same thing we've been doing. Nothing new, just adding more color. You should be getting into a nice rhythm. Just kind of sitting in the seat of the project and just enjoying it. As you're seeing it come together. Switching to the Chartreuse. Very cool. And a little bit of hunter green or olive green. Yeah, olive green. That same dark green we've been using. Maybe for the belt buckle, I want that to pop a little more again. Maybe start thinking, how do we want that to pop? Maybe throw in a little highlight on the buckle. Such a tiny little thing, but I think just those little tiny details are so fun to see them actually do a little something that we like. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty cool. Okay, let's pop back up to her hat up here. I want that to be blended more, and I'm going to use the pink that we used for her cheeks. Really putting some pressure on to blend that out. I'm also going to add that to the scarf. I'm not done yet with that scarf or that buckle or the belt around the hat. Add it to the gloves. I think she has just the cutest outfit on. I'm gonna add a little white. Okay, kind of just hitting the spots that would be highlighted more, a little lighter. Little pop, little pizzazz. Even just sort of little glove there. I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. Hit that buckle. Yeah, she's starting to get glossy. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into those clovers. And I'm going to hit those, some of the chartreuse. I'm really going to make these puppies pop right now too. I'm really hitting the ones that are out front that we left light. I'm really liking how this is turning out. She's very fun, very festive. I really wanted to do something different. There's lots of familiar art you can do on St. Patrick's Day with the clovers, and I've seen clovers with little animals and it's so cute, or leprechauns or things of that nature, or the Celtic crosses. I thought, ooh, and then I didn't really want to draw a Celtic cross. That's a little more technical and straight lines and making everything symmetrical. I'm like, what is something I would be totally engaged in right now and really be excited about doing? And I love creating characters. And so, oh, I probably should tell you, I'm putting some white on my clovers now. Just making those tips pop. So I had this character that was on this swing, and she was like, I had a little line of ragamuffin characters I was working on, and they had these like little cool outfits and hats and gloves, and so she was already half drawn, and I was like, I had to change her hat to one of these hats you see on St. Patty's Day. And I didn't have anything in her hand originally. I had her hat almost finished, and I couldn't decide what I was going to put in the other character's hand, and it just worked out great. I'm like, I'm putting a bouquet of clovers in her hand, and now this old picture that I never finished got repurposed into this girl. It worked out great. She's been sitting in the vault for probably a good 6 years, unfinished. And going back in and just darkening some of those that are in the background. Yeah, wow, that truly pops. Putting a lot of pressure on when I'm adding this white, because it is that top layer. And it blends in, it blends the layers beneath it, works right into them just beautifully. Okay, hopefully it's working well on your end too. And then we gotta do the ones on her hat. The forgotten clovers up here. Oh, so cool. She is snazzy. Okay, so you're seeing she is really happening here. We have to do the swing next. Make sure we got something going on with that swing. I'm gonna layer it just like I did the others. Start with our processed red. Start creating the shadow. You can actually take the colors up into the rope too. It's kind of a labor of love. You might just want to use a darker brown to do the shading on this. But for the sake of staying true to the color blast in this tutorial, I'm going to use the pinks and the greens. I think I'm going to skip the lime green on this and just hit it with dark green and see maybe if I don't need the lime green. We shall see. I might still need it a little bit. You know, there's some Winnie the Pooh illustrations that do the color blasting. I don't know if anybody calls it color blasting, but when you look at some of the, not all of them, because there's a variety of Winnie the Pooh illustrations and illustrators, because that brand is just ginormous. But some of them, when you really look, they have so many colors, and not so much the characters, but the background. You'll turn to any one page and the cooler trees are like blues and purples, and then the warmer trees are like the pinks and the golden tones. And I really, really fell in love with those illustrations when I was a kid and felt like, it feels like somewhere that we all want to be. It's just this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful space they created with those illustrations. Okay, that's actually looking pretty. It kind of is looking like a bowl of Lucky Charms. We have got a thing going on. Oh my goodness. But you see how when you combine the pink and the green that you start to get this, it's in the brown zone, but it's not brown. But because they're complementary colors, you get this nice, it's pretty. It's a back and forth of something. Okay, let's see what else we want to do here. Losing daylight again. Man, she's pretty close. We could almost call it good right now. I might burnish out her boots, because I never did do that. Just going back over with the peach, the light peach, to just work out some of that paper showing through and give it the gloss. And it blends some of those colors together, because we used all those colors on the boots. Isn't that cool? Yeah. I am very much liking this. This is great. Maybe some of the rope gets a little highlight. If anybody's still doing this with me, who is hanging in there to the end? Who are my I made it all the way to the end people? You should definitely comment if you did and say, I did the whole thing. Okay. Yeah, guys, I think she's looking pretty fantastic. Now, I think the one last thing I will say, we're gonna zoom back out. Oh, here we go. The one thing I will say, if you wanted to do one more layer, if you're like, man, that doesn't look like the original. This one, I went back in with, there was a purple or a blue color. It was different. I used a different set of colored pencils. I think we were in this zone, mulberry. It may have been the mulberry, where I went back in and added some mulberry. I brought her into those deeper colors. Everywhere I added mulberry in, and then there was one more. And this one is super potent. When you add blue to the mix, this is where it goes, woo! You can add blue. This one is ultramarine, and you can go into these spots here, like the tips of where you put down the fuchsia. I wouldn't add a lot of him. Like when I say he's potent, I mean he shows up to the party and just starts to take over. So I just use him as a small little shadowing guest. Try to keep him in the background of the party a little bit. Cause he's loud. He's loud.